have my all over the mansion. Can't sit on my house. I got that check and took off. A lot of these look lost. They broke. They think it's my fault. No court. I want that court. I'm dripping. I'm stuck with the sauce. But she love you. Don't cut your. Breno Javinci is white. Limited.
Welcome in, everybody. It's the coach, and you're tuned in to Madden 19 on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a...
Thank you, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to Oakland, California. Today, we're set for a good AFC matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Oakland Raiders. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. Now the first carry for Ezekiel Elliott. Oh, he shifts past him. Ezekiel Elliott going to take it the distance. And all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott hitting double digits with his 10th touchdown of the season. And the Ravens have taken the early lead. And maybe starting the campaign for another Offensive Player of the Week award in the AFC.
Yeah, strike up the band, right? They're going to lead him along, and the band being that offensive line, he's locked into the rhythm of what they're doing up front, and he's definitely off to that great start, a second straight week.
This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Carr and the Raiders come up 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Shotgun now for Carr. He'll get this one to Switzer. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A very solid gain of 27. So in Raven territory now. Here's a 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. And they'll go with a ground attack here. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. These are his numbers from last week's contest. 16 carries, 55 yards.
They've lost a bunch of games in a row now. They've got to start thinking a little bit differently, maybe a little bit outside of the box. Find other ways to move the football. I don't know if you're going to do it through the air or maybe change up how you establish your run game.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38.
Now, 180.
Carr now on 1st down. Throwing for his running back, and he's got it complete. And he gets it down to the 32. Give him 6 on the play, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, it's tough to be a defender in today's NFL because there's so many things to account for in today's passing game, including the back sneaking out of the backfield. Not quite as bad as a turkey bowl where you have that center-eligible stuff, but still a lot of guys to account for.
Get down, 180.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that'll make it 2nd and 12.
Came out in a power set, but that only served to put more men in the box. And guess what? If you're going to do that, you've got to win up front, right? Your offensive guys have got to beat the defenders. They lost all leverage on that play.
And not much of a hole there as he gets it down to about the 24-yard line. A look now at the Oakland offense.
One of the things I like to do when I'm scouting players is talk to those who knew him before, and I ended up finding out that Amari Cooper has been like a professional route runner since the time he was 6 or 7 years old. Has always taken the game seriously, has always worked on his craft, and you see evidence of that each and every week on an NFL field. Couple that with his athletic ability, it's one big reason he's finding himself open in the NFL.
And that is incomplete.
It's a great job by this secondary. When I watch them, they remind me of elite defenders on a basketball court, right? They want to contest each and every pass.
Great contest on 3rd down to bring up 4th. Here's Dustin Hopkins now to try the field goal. From the left hash, this will be a 41-yarder. And Hopkins' kick is good. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. So, yes, it's only 3, but at least they're able to answer back after giving up the touchdown to start the game.
Yeah, I like the observation there because getting some points on the board, very positive for them. Feel a little bit better about things because if you don't score, you potentially have opened the door for them to score again, and then you're down 14.
Ezekiel Elliott gets ready to go again here on offense as he shuffles onto the field. And you see his numbers from a week ago. He was up over 100 yards then, and he's already hit pay dirt here once in this one.
We always talk about quarterbacks and receivers getting into rhythm, right? Really feeling good, finding each other downfield. I think running backs operate the same way. They can hit a good rhythm and a good stride, and he's carrying it over from last week. What's the old adage? Be quick, but don't hurry. Well, that went right out the window there. He was hurried, harassed. That ball had to be gotten rid of, otherwise he was going to get sacked.
A give to Elliott. Shifts by him. Oh, and now he bowls him over. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. From the gun on 3rd down, Jackson. Going to throw right side here, complete. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
Over!
A first down carry by Elliott. And this will be taken across midfield and into Raider territory. And give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down. A very solid gain on that play.
Gun! Watch him now, Barney!
Now Jackson on 2nd down. Flush to his right. And a flag comes in as that one falls incomplete. Well, let's see who this is on.
Intentional grounding, offense.
Clearly wasn't outside of the tackle box. There's your penalty.
And accompanying that penalty, a loss of down.
So now it's 3rd and long, because remember, they also lose a down on the grounding call. Jackson operating from the gun, and he can't hang on to it. Nearly picked. He's known for his hands defensively, but instead it just brings up 4th down.
And absolutely zero surprise that that one was incomplete, huh? I mean, truthfully, how many OCs have we seen with 3rd and 20 on their play sheet and go, oh, I've got the exact play to dial up?
That's just a head-scratching down when you're facing a 3rd and 20. Tried to complete it, couldn't get it done. 12 yards on the return that time. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Carr and the Raiders come up 1st and 10, just shy of the 30. Here's Carr. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you can go make a play on the football.
And they'll go on the ground. And he'll work this one up to about the 38. A nice job to get 8 there after the incompletion, and now they'll look at a 3rd and 2 coming up.
That was a good run, and it got to the second level. And what I mean by that is that's where the linebackers usually play. First level being the defensive front, last level being the secondary. But if the strong safety position end up making the tackle, and oftentimes we call them a hybrid. Combination defensive back, combination linebacker. We saw the linebacker make the stop.
A 3-yard gain and enough for the first down. Got to say, I was a little surprised to see him, Charles, come out in the shotgun on 3rd and less than a yard.
Yeah, but the way the NFL is nowadays, we hardly ever see anyone really run for it.
Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Darius Slay with a pick. Cooper was the target there. A great pick, nice return, but you know he's just beating himself up inside for not getting all the way in.
No doubt about it, because he had visions of end zone in his mind. Going to be the total hero.
And he will take it in for a Ravens touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott with touchdown number 2 in the game, and now 11 on the year. And the Ravens will add on to their lead. And a pair of rushing touchdowns now for him in the first quarter.
And I'm liking what I'm seeing from his big guys up front, because they're winning the leverage game. How many times we talk about low man wins, right? Move the defensive front aside, create those gaps and holes. He's found his way through them for 2 touchdowns.
And after both of those touchdowns, he went right up to that O-line and hit each of them on the helmet. He recognized it.
That's a smart man. You know what else he should do? If this continues, take them all to dinner.
Derek Carr getting set and ready to go again on offense here. And he'll look to rebound from the early interception that led to 6 points the other way.
And when he threw the interception and he had to come to the sideline, I guarantee his first thought wasn't about the interception itself, but what could result. And I know he was thinking to himself, come on, defense, bail me out. Well, they weren't able to in this situation. Now he's got to go out and atone for it himself, but he can't force things.
2nd and 12 after the first down pass play went backwards for 2 yards. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. Give him 12 yards that time and an Oakland first down.
I have to admit, I'm excited by that play call and the end result, because this is a team that's down big early in the first quarter, and a lot of teams will just panic, abandon the playbook, and just start firing the ball all over the place. It's way too early for that. Stick to what works for you.
Down double digits, and we talked about their game plan being both running and passing there. You're right. They're sticking to the game plan, getting the ground game going.
A lot of football left to be played.
We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team, because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn it into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield. Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, he often can go for good yardage.
Sets him up nicely for second down, staying ahead of schedule. And brought down, but able to get it to their 30-yard line. 18 yards on his first catch of the game. It's a first down. Well, this is how you shake the thoughts of that interception on the last drive. You come out and start this one 4 for 4.
And watching him throw it around with that type of confidence reminds me of a guy I played with way back when who told me, I don't care if I throw 10 interceptions in a row. I'm going to stay confident, keep flinging it. I just figured there's something wrong with the football. They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up, because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Throwing middle, but it's incomplete.
Well, man's getting a little loose with the football there, right? Interception before, almost had one here. He's got to start taking better care of it.
Yeah, really should have been back-to-back drives with interceptions. He's lucky there. So the failure to connect on second down, that leaves him staring up here at a 3rd and 8. Working from the gun, it's Carr. Under pressure, and down he goes. They sack him back at the 36. Za'Darius Smith. coming in to drop him for a loss of 8, and it'll be 4th down.
They just gave up a sack there, and if I'm not mistaken, they gave up 4 last week, didn't they?
Yes. And just looking really porous, aren't they?
They really are, and I'm wondering if they're going to have to start thinking about keeping the tight end in, maybe a back, someone to help assist, because right now, their quarterback's been getting hit a lot in the last couple of games.
These kickers now, it's like we take them for granted. Kicks like that used to be such a big deal, and now you just expect them to make it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and we shouldn't take them for granted, but I have a theory about it. You want to hear it?
Yep.
They are more athletic now than ever before. Talk about kickers. Trace their backgrounds, trace their histories. You'll find that
Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. They'll start the drive with Elliott. And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
Second quarter now. Brandon Gaunt and Charles Davis with you. It's the Ravens who have the football. They've got a 2nd down and 8 to start things out. They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line.
All right, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
The give is to Elliott. Nifty move. And just a short gain that time as they're able to get him down. Gary and Conley, the one to bring him down. 2 yards on the first down carry, and then followed up by 2 yards on the second down carry.
Well, that's definitely not going to be enough to get the job done. Wasn't the expression 3 yards in a cloud of dust?
Now they're going to need 6 on 3rd down to keep the drive going. On 3rd down, Jackson. Going right side here, and that's complete. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. And the play goes for 19 yards, gives him a new set of downs.
And that's how you pick up a first down. Not only does he make the catch, but has enough body control to get his feet down inbounds, toe tapping and dragging to make sure he gets it done.
Being chased out left. Throwing left side, it's complete. And he's going to have this down deep into Oakland territory. It's a big play there for Baltimore. 43 yards.
On any given pass play, you never know exactly where your exit points are going to be. On this play, he was flushed to his left, still on the run, able to accurately throw the football for a nice first down.
And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. Give him 4 on the carry there at 2nd and goal.
That didn't just feel like good defense there. That felt like pride, didn't it? He's already gotten into the end zone twice, trying to get there for a 3rd time. No one likes to have the hat trick against them.
They get it to him running left. And he will force his way into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Ravens will extend their lead. This is becoming quite the half he's had here.
Remember in our pregame meetings, they talked about wanting to run the football and staying with it? Well, when you're scoring this many touchdowns, there's no reason to go away from it, is there? They are off to a fantastic start. They hope it continues.
3 already for him. Here's Tucker now out to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Carr and the Raiders come up 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit.
Unnecessary roughness.
Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call it in the West Coast offense, the long handoff?
Yeah.
Serve as your running play that way. as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
2 sacks last week, another one right here. He's been unblockable lately, and I think that goes all the way back to not just his offseason, but the film study he's been doing during the week, because I think he's found matchups that he likes, and he's capitalizing.
A few times he's even defeated double teams. He doesn't care at this point. Carr now to throw, and incomplete there. A nice hit, jars the ball free, and brings up 3rd down.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. On 3rd and long, it's Carr. And this is going to be incomplete.
Well, it's looking like another 3 and out here, and at some point, got to be able to put together a drive to keep your defense from having to go right back out on the field. I feel like things are starting to unravel a little bit, and we're not even at halftime.
Now it's Tate. We'll call that a punt of 54 yards. Well struck. And the Ravens will get it. 1st and 10 from deep in their own territory. And let's gaze our attention on Ezekiel Elliott. He's in his zone, 2nd quarter, already closing in on a 100-yard game.
And that's the magic number for a running back. Anytime you get to that triple digits, that's all you're looking for. But he's got a chance to really exceed that in this one.
Yeah, he does. That's been the gold standard for a long time, hasn't it, that 100-yard mark?
It really has, and that never has to shift because it's in a game. It's a 1,000-yard mark. I'm wondering, since we've gone from 12 to 14 to 16 games, maybe we need to up that a little.
10th carry now for Elliott. Brought down around the 16 or 17. Had a nice move, but couldn't free much space. And he got half of what he needed there, 2 yards, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 2 more.
But that's all about doing the dirty work right there defensively. 2nd and short yardage, that's all about plugging those gaps, not giving the running back a crease to run through, and has a nice job to hold him just a couple and force a 3rd down.
Third and 2, here's Jackson. And he can't quite intercept it. Zone coverage, free safety was there. Couldn't come up with it, and now it's 4th down.
You're down 2 touchdowns. You just know defensively you absolutely have to come up with a big play. That nearly was one right there.
Looked over at the sideline immediately after the drop and just saw the dejection. They felt it. They thought he had it. Unfortunately, couldn't come up with it. So possession goes over here on the punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. And for him, it's been pretty limited involvement. Down on the scoreboard, maybe time to turn to this guy.
And you know me well. Winning games to me means starting with the running game and continuing to press the running game. Maybe you go away from him a little bit now, but bottom line is he hasn't touched it enough to make a difference.
Well, they haven't established that running game yet. The question is, will they? Now, the first play of the drive there is incomplete.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync, only way to play good defense.
So line of scrimmage still the 39 on 2nd and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. And able to get this one all the way up to about the 46-yard line. 2nd down, a little more productive than first. 7 yards on the gain. It gets them to 3rd and 3 now.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Carr. And he's got his man on the out route. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds. First target, first catch, and a 1st down. 3rd and 4, he did just enough. I mean, just enough to move the chains.
And that's all you're looking for, right? Just want to keep the drive moving. You don't need the big play there. Just get to that marker that you described, and he was able to do just that.
He's going to look deep down the field. So they took a shot on 1st down, but couldn't connect.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the 2nd quarter. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 35, and his crew will take over with a football at the 35-yard line.
And, Brandon, this is a real nice job defensively of getting inside a quarterback's head and figuring out, okay, where's he going with the football? Because you can make an educated guess defensively, not all the time, but sometimes. And when you're right, you've got a decent chance of coming away with the football.
They start on the ground with Elliott. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a 1st down.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense, because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
Detroit! All right, now, lucky 56.
Throwing on 1st down, it's Jackson. That's caught at the 25. A really good pickup of 28 yards. 2 minutes remain here in the 1st half. We'll come back to Oakland after this. All right, coming up at intermission. Charles, you want to weigh in Hampshire Saturday?
I certainly do.
I've got just a thing for you. It's the coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by Orlando. He'll be alongside at half to take us through the weekend in the NFL. Throwing now, Jackson on 1st down. Pressure applied, and he's going to be taken down. They sack him back at the 33-yard line.
Well, maybe that can give him a little bit of a pick-me-up, a little bit of a jolt. One of the few things that's gone right defensively.
Because other than that, it's really been a 1st half to forget. So 2nd and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range. From the gun, Jackson. Stepping up, he's going to keep it. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. Pretty nice gain on the scramble, gets him 12 yards. I thought they were going to sack him there like they did on 1st down. Great coverage, but he found a way to move with his legs.
Yeah, his ability to take off, not only did he get some yardage back, he got a little bit extra. Really helps him on 3rd down, makes it manageable now.
To throw is Jackson. To throw on 3rd down. And it falls incomplete after almost being intercepted. A pick there would have been great. The good news for the defense now, it's 4th down.
I know ultimately that feels like a good defensive play, but I know it's really not. They had a chance to keep points off the board. Now they have a chance to kick a field goal by missing that shot.
Yeah, especially at this spot in the field. He's got to be upset he couldn't come up with that INT. So a good snap, good hold, and right down the middle.
Never in doubt. Just the way you used to hit them, partner.
You mean like kicking the ball?
Exactly.
Well, that was in high school.
Doesn't matter. I don't care what level. You hit them, they go through.
And now Oakland ready to take the field. And what do you think goes on here in this situation? If you got the football, you're trailing, you're back in your own territory with just a little time. Do you try something?
You're thinking about jump-starting your team, right? You just mentioned it. They're down. They're trying to get back into the game. But you got to figure if something goes wrong.
And a big loss here as he's taken down. The Raiders going to use one of their timeouts as the clock stops here with 46 seconds remaining in the 1st half. Sacks, a growing theme in this 1st half. This is 2nd and long. Now Carr. And he's got Cooper on the out route. That's complete. And they'll bring him down here up at about the 22-yard line. Now the Raiders going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. And now the Raven defense going to call a timeout, as the clock will stop with 34 seconds to go before halftime. Here now, Johnny Townsend, as he'll kick it away for the second time. On the return, it's Tate. A good return there, 17 yards. And the Ravens, they'll take over. Here comes the Raven offense now, ready for another possession. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
And just 25 seconds to go in the half now as they've got it 1st and 10. Here's Jackson, escaping the pressure right. Now he's going to throw. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. A big play there just before halftime. 44 yards.
In our pregame meeting, all they talked about was keeping him hemmed in and wanting him to make his throws from the pocket because they knew he was pretty dangerous if he got outside, and he just showed it right there. Pretty good arm, too.
So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Now a play fake here on 1st down. Dancing to his left. And that's incomplete. Clock stops with 10 seconds left. From the 24, they'll go again on 2nd and 10.
Detroit! Detroit! All right, here we go. 3-19! 3-19!
2nd and 10. Here's Jackson again. Eluding the pressure right. And that will be incomplete. 4 ticks left here on the clock. Not time enough for a play and then a timeout, you wouldn't think. So with 4 seconds left, they're going for it.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
Final play of the half here. It's Jackson. Drops it underneath to Elliott. And now running right through it. And he showcases the spin. A pretty good gain before he's taken down. There you have it. Halftime quickly over. 3rd quarter, here we go. So we have reached halftime here with the visiting Ravens out in front. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out comes the Raiders offense. They'll go on offense first to start quarter number 3. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
A nice run there, 9 yards, and it'll be 2nd down.
First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
Maybe a good spot to take a shot. Here's 2nd and a yard from the 34. And they'll run it here. 2 yards on the pickup there, but it's enough to give them a new set of downs.
2nd and 1 is often an invitation to take the big shot downfield. I bet the offensive lineman said, are you kidding? We just get on our backs and let's go get the 1st down. They love being physical.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Monday, down. 185.
On 1st down, Carr firing quickly here, and that's complete. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. Give him 9 there on the first. First down completion. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1.
6-18. Get down, get down. 180.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Zadarius Smith able to get him down.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker, and what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down.
Hey, you got 3 down. Get 180.
Now Carr on the bootleg. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And he will have the first down as he gets this to the 47. It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And it'll be 2nd and 12.
Brandon, we're into the second half, and this offense has not scored a lot of points, and that was another example of why. I think it's time to open things up and start really trying to move the ball.
Down. 185.
Carr to throw on 2nd down. And it's incomplete.
I know that interception was dropped, and it would have been their 3rd of the game, and I will guarantee you, in the huddle, on the bench, all the defensive guys have been talking about is, we've got this guy right where we want him. Who's going to get the next one? It almost becomes a challenge, and they missed a golden opportunity.
Down. 280.
Throwing his Carr on 3rd down. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off at the 38. First possession of the 3rd quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No, but I've heard stories about teams actually doing that back in the good old days.
The Ravens offense getting ready now for their first possession of the second half. Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10 at their 38. A give to Elliott running left. Ezekiel Elliott going to take it the distance. And all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott, 62 yards. And the Ravens will add on to their lead. And that rushing touchdown, his 4th, puts him just 1 shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it, but he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's had here in this one.
Tucker with the extra point, and the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. Here's Tucker now out to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Raiders offense now, they trot back out, and 3 interceptions in this game. And I would have to think, I wasn't a quarterback, but number 4 is kind of, oh, you're like, oh, man, I can't throw 4.
No, what's interesting is, what do the coaches decide to do now? Having thrown 3, do you alter your offensive strategy? Do you take the ball out of his hands and maybe turn to the running game? Or do you have that supreme confidence that he's going to turn things around?
We'll see what they do. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him. So when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
And they'll go ground game here with a tailback. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a third down.
The best offenses and the ones that win are ones that make adjustments. And right now, I think this team needs to open things up.
The Raiders on third down. They've converted 3 times in 8 chances. Here it's 3rd and 2. Now a handoff looking right. And he'll be limited to a short gain up to about the 34-yard line. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it's going to leave him with a 4th down.
So where'd all that running room that he had in the first half go? Because it looks like it's drying up a little bit here. Someone made some adjustments, it appears, at least on this drive.
So a change of possession here on the punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. This Ravens offense heads back out there, led by Lamar Jackson. He's been a good game manager. They're winning here in the 3rd quarter, but really the ground game is where it's been at for them, hasn't it?
So whatever the game plan was, you just got to focus on continuing to run the football. And really, that takes the pressure off of the guy throwing it around. Doesn't have to be the focal point. Hand it off, let him chew up the yardage in big plays, and your team's winning. The only people upset, the fantasy guys who may have started him at quarterback in their leagues.
And we'll see if they continue with a recipe of the ground game.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
On 2nd down, Jackson. And he'll be grabbed from behind and slung down like a rag doll.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
The Ravens on 3rd down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is 3rd and 7.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
Throwing is Jackson. And a big loss here as he's taken down.
And it has been a good game for them. They haven't been pressured very much today. But on back-to-back sacks, maybe the defense is starting to figure something out.
He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. And taken right at the 35. It'll be a 51-yard punt that time. Getting set to go again as we look at the back heading onto the field again. And we have seen a decline in the numbers. Where does the fault lie? Just him? Maybe the guys up front? Combination?
Well, as you and I both know, it's almost always a collective deal. But in this case, I think maybe the offensive line got a little overconfident. They had blocked so well in the first half, picked up on what the defense was doing. I think we've seen an adjustment now that they have not picked up on, and now they're being a little bit overwhelmed.
That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral-type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
Now Carr. And it's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be 3rd down.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
He's going to air one out. And a shot taken on 3rd down, unsuccessful. 4th down now.
And we're into the second half now, and this is an offense that continues to struggle to sustain a drive.
Looks like they're just totally out of sync, whether they're running the ball, passing the ball like we saw there. I don't know. The rhythm seems off. Ezekiel Elliott gets ready to go again here on offense as he shuffles onto the field. He has been a touchdown machine. It has been enjoyable to watch.
And the scoreboard continues to light up as a result of his efforts. He's been a blast, though. Every time you look up, you just figure if he's got the ball in his hands, he's going to end up in the end zone. It's been that kind of a game for him.
Absolutely. Now you just keep waiting for more.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Now Jackson. And the Raiders have got him.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Gone! Four down, check. Four down.
Play action. It's Jackson. And he finds a man with a crossing route. And they work this well upfield across the 45. A big 30-yard play on third.
Now, that play will end up on the highlights, and you'll see it all over the place. But what you won't see, the offensive line that bought the extra time, that allowed for the big completion downfield, those guys made that play possible.
Pressure from his right, and he goes down hard, flat on his back. Khalil Mack in there to drop him for his 11th sack of the year.
I know there would be a little bit of criticism there because they went right back to the air after the huge pickup and ended up getting sacked. That's often a play that you make. You feel like you've got momentum on your side.
Unfortunately, the O-line failed to hold up to try to keep that momentum going.
All right, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
On second down, here's Jackson. Forced out to his left. And another juke. And he'll go down, and that will do it for the third quarter of action. Back now here on EA Sports. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4.
Set. Blue 90. Blue 90. Check.
On third down, Jackson. Throwing right, and that's complete. A good pick up there of 20 yards. They have the nice cushion. They just want to pour it on right now, still throwing the football.
And I know my background says, why do you need to do this? Just go ahead and run out the clock and get a win. But as many people pointed out to me, this is a video game, man. Go ahead and put the numbers up. Sportsmanship, not an issue.
Exercise those fingers.
Here we go. Blue 90. Blue 90.
They go play action here on first down. Under pressure, and down he goes. They sack him back at the 36. Khalil Mack in there to get him, and that's sack number 12 for him on the year.
This has been a tough one for this offensive line. It appears almost like they've been on roller skates this entire game, the way they've been pushed around. 6 sacks given up in this one.
Now, following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a second down and 17. A handoff left, Elliott. And he'll take this one down to the 36. And they only get a yard back there. They'll be left with a third down and long.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
The Ravens on third down. Not quite 50%, 4 for 9. This is 3rd and 17. Again, it's Elliott. And a short gain down to about the 33. Give him 3 yards there as that'll take us to 4th down. So out comes a field goal team now for the second time here today. From the left hash, it's an even 50-yard attempt. And Tucker's kick right there. It's good. And their lead will swell up to 28. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the 4th.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now the Raiders offense, they get set to head back on the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
He got 29 yards that time. Well, even after all those interceptions, he's not deterred, still confident to go deep at work there.
I think all the old rules about playing that position still apply. If things go wrong, you still act like you're the best player out on the field. You still carry that supreme arrogance with you and continue to fire the ball. I've seen guys have games like this, and this is where you find out if you're great or not. Can you overcome some interceptions and still lead your team to victory? All that practice time came to fruition on that play. All those timing routes that they work on through training camp, OTAs, mini camp, and just regular season, they got it done on that one. An outcut, ball was delivered, and picked up the completion.
He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out, incomplete. They'll try again from the 36 on 2nd and 10. Carl try it again on 2nd down. And he comes back with one complete. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. 11 more yards there, and this methodical drive continues.
When this offense can get their tight ends involved, they can move the football. Here, a nice route, able to look it in, and picks up the first down.
And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden a secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
Throwing now is Carr. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down.
Well, the strategy was evident there. Get it to your tight end and make it a one-on-one play with a cornerback. Who's usually going to win that one?
The tight end, but not there.
Not in this situation. How about the corner defeating that logic and making a really nice tackle?
And they'll get him down right around the 16. It's a pickup of 3, but it brings up what will be an interesting 4th and 1.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
And Hopkins' kick is good. And that drops a deficit from 28 to 25. Well, in the grand scheme of things, those 3 points likely not going to matter much, but I guess they get a little closer, a little more respectability.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been outplayed all game long, but like my mom used to tell me all the time before I went out, dress up a little bit, son. Make yourself respectable. And that's what they're doing here. They're just dressing up the final score.
Well, 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
They go back to Elliott. He's been busy, and he won't get much. Maybe a couple. Down inside the 35 to the 34.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
The Ravens on 3rd down. They're right at about the league average, 40%, 4 for 10. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. It's a loss of a full 3 yards, and it brings up 4th down.
Yeah, let me pump out my chest a little bit, even though I'm not rooting for either team. That was a really nice defensive play. It's awfully fun to watch, even in an offensive game.
These kickers now, it used to be that a 50-plus yarder was cause for celebration. Now, seemingly automatic.
Yeah, isn't it funny when we prepare for a game, when you look at the backgrounds of these kickers, it's interesting, isn't it, to find out they were all-state quarterbacks, receivers, defensive backs, all-state wrestlers, right? Baseball players. We're finding athletes all along, and now they're just specialists putting it through the posts.
Carr and the Raiders come up 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line.
Get set. 185.
Shotgun now for Carr. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he's able to get this one up to his 30 before he's out of bounds. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and that'll make this a 2nd down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
And he'll hit the slant route. That's caught by Cooper. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. 23 yards on the play. Offense for them has been at a premium. You wonder where plays like that have been all game long.
They're thinking the exact same thing themselves, but they're also looking forward now, because now these plays are really for next week, trying to get some momentum going.
He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out, incomplete. We have not seen a whole lot of wide-open receivers. Everything seemingly has been contested.
And that's another nice job there to force an incompletion. They've been very cohesive, knowing each other's moves all game long, and they've been on the spot just about every time.
And they've held them in check on the scoreboard. And he's got this down to the 35. They've got another first down. The Raider passing game clicking on all cylinders right now. Looked like a pretty good, safe play right there. No, he's had trouble with the interceptions in this game there. Hits his guy out in the flat.
Yeah, so many times we hear quarterbacks and offensive coordinators talk about in your progressions, you're either throwing the touchdown or you're throwing the check down. But earlier in the game, it was touchdown or interception. Now he got to the check down, a nice safe throw, and a good one.
Another big hitter there. This one good for 18. Into the red zone. It's Carr. And he couldn't hang on. Would have been their 4th pick of the game. Instead, second down.
Trying to decipher what's going on out there because I don't know if he's just getting bad reads. I don't know if the defense is confusing him. I don't know if he just has, bad info and intel before he snaps the ball. But he's made some pretty bad decisions with the football lately.
Yeah, several bad decisions on the interceptions he's thrown, and frankly, that should have been another pick right there. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. They'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for third down.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target, and he's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
Carr going to throw. And he just throws this one away. Smart decision here this close to the end zone, and it brings up second down.
What a job by this defense all game long. They've come together and really said, no one's crossing our goal line, and they're definitely not going to start right now.
You can just see the dejection. Feel like nothing is working offensively.
False start, offense.
So that'll back them up 5. Things made a little more difficult after the false start as they try again on second and goal. To throw again, Carr. And that one almost intercepted. Far too loose with the football here. Nearly a 4th pick. And it's third down. This drive, which was going so smoothly, all of a sudden it's a little bit of a roadblock here with 2 straight incompletions.
Yeah, apparently this defense has had enough. Apparently they're saying, no more. We're making a stand right here, right now. But it is 3rd and 10. They've got to get after him one more.
And this is caught. Well, they get one back. Picking up the late touchdown here, but still down big.
And that touchdown ends a streak, for lack of a better word, of 3 field goals that they put on the board previously. They finally cracked the code.
Yeah, they've been down there. They've been in enemy territory, as you said. They just hadn't been able to punch it in until that point. Extra point good by Hopkins. And that'll cut the lead back down to 21. So it would no doubt be a miracle comeback from here, but let's see what they can do starting with the onside kick. And this one recovered by the hands team for the Ravens. Now they're down big here in the 4th. They had to try the onside kick. Can't fault them for the effort at least.
No, you can't at all. And if nothing else, now you've put something that you're trying to practice, right, that you've worked on into a game situation, and now you can go back and dissect it. So if you need it again sometime, maybe you'll find a better way to do it. But, yeah, this game's pretty much done for them.
And he's going to get this down near the 30-yard line. They get 14 on that one. That's good for a Baltimore first down.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or 2 shy of the 10. That burst good for 20 and a first down.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the fourth as it was way back in the first, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
Well, I know at points in this when you wanted to close your eyes because of all the points that were being put on the scoreboard. You're a defensive guy, but it was a fun little track meet, wasn't it?
It was, and you know the people who really enjoyed this game? They're the ones that like going to batting practice at the Major League Baseball parks, right? Seeing the 14-11 game, that sort of deal. That's right up their alley with what we saw in this one.
So for Baltimore...